Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Transformers Kingdom Cyclonus review. Now, you guys might also know that this Cyclonus goes by another name, the Studio Series, but not actually Studio Series Cyclonus. I love how they just cheekily have made that in the Kingdom line crossover. Anyway, as you guys can see, our boy is rocking a weaponizer Airwave. And so as you can see him rocking the pieces of Airwave, and overall I really like the way this looks, especially with the cannons up here on these wing bits, and then how like this is very Beast Hunters Optimus Prime-esque with the big underslung, like, you know, rapid repeating machine gun thing. He looks cool. I love the armor plating. It gives this awesome of a character an even more imposing look. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. However, how does he look in his, I guess as Thew would say, purple plane, purple plane. Well, look at that. I guess Cyclonus does have an armada. So, in looking at these previous versions of Cyclonuses, whether it was intentional or not on Hasbro's part, we can see that his size is very similar to that of his Combiner Wars version, yet his jet mode seems like it takes the best parts of not only his G1 self, but also the Universe version, and it blends it together, again, at that size, to make just a really good-looking, very accurate jet mode. And like I said, he may not actually be considered part of the Studio Series, but he totally could have dropped in that line. Now, as you saw earlier, he does come with this robot mode gun, which you can attach atop. But one thing that also is interesting is that if you look at the previous nightstick that came out with the Universe version, this guy, you see that he can also likewise attach to the new Kingdom version as well. Well, now that we've seen him with his other selves, what about some other familiar looking homies? So here's our guy with his best frenemy, Scourge. And guys, when I put these two together, they just look really good. I mean, it never became so more apparent than right here that yes, they were designed with the same 86 movie aesthetic, hands down. So they look really sick together, especially with all their blast effects. I like, you know, because he's such a sleek jet fighter and everything. That's why I gave him more of the longer, you know, streaks and stuff like that. And just for a little bit of fun, here he is in his previous form. I don't know. I like thinking of myself as an Autobot fan, but then again, there are some Decepticons that are just awesome enough to potentially sway me. And so here we see our guy back in his robot mode, and when we start to compare him to his previous iterations, one of the things that we see is, again, whether this was intentional on Hasbro's part or not, each of these previous iterations had a strong point that linked them to the original Cyclonus, but this is the first time that it's been perfectly nailed. And I just gotta say that you know, he's up there in my top 10 of my favorite Transformers. So I'm just really happy to see that we finally got a true Cyclonus. Now, one great feature about this new Cyclonus is that he rocks a feature that not many Transformers have nowadays. And I don't know if you can tell, but he has some sick light piping in his eyes. So here we can see him again with Scourge on his right and his previous self on his left. And as usual, the boys are looking sick, and all three of them are rocking something in particular. I'm not harping on this, guys, because I actually have enjoyed the fact that, you know, like with the weaponizers and stuff, and the fact that all three, technically four if you count the Studio Series, are able to, you know, just, I mean, it's like everything has finally come together. And I'm going to be sad to see it go, but if this is any indication of what may come in future lines, maybe the next gimmick that they have will actually be one that we all enjoy also. So Cyclonus can now finally fulfill his responsibility, being second only to Galvatron. These three guys look sick. They're going to look great on the shelf, no matter how you display them together. Definitely, I love Cyclonus's robot mode because he's strong as a robot individually, but he's even stronger when you pair him with other Decepticons. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed that review of Transformers Kingdom Cyclonus. And until next time, we'll see you in another review. Okay, guys, Just one more announcement is I want to let you guys know that since Megatron dropped at my door, we're just going to roll the Black Arachnia video into his, just to make it all streamlined and everything. And on top of that, I have to give special thanks to my friend who dropped this at my door today. So after we get done with old Megs over here, we might actually have to do a review of the Netflix Soundwave. So anyway, guys, until next time, for real this time, we'll see you in another review.